Thank you for taking a coffee break with Praise Center.
All right. So there's a couple of questions that I want to ask you before we pray. Because I want your mind to kind of get in tune to this today. Is there something, and this is the flow we're going to go with, is there something you are ready to quit? I know this morning I had a quittable morning. Is there something you are ready to quit? Is there someone you want to give up on? Today, I'm here to help us to understand that quitting is not an option. This is where we're going with this. This is what we're going to be focusing on. And I know this is just the beginning of a new year, so quitting, you're not even thinking about it. Oh, we're starting new things, and everything is going to be fresh. And, your mind is refocused and everything. Many have come out of consecration, and so we got this new lease on life, and we're ready to go. But already, probably, especially if you've been to as many or heard of as many funerals as homegoings and celebrations of life that have been going on. And it's just February. It's just the first week of February that have been going on. People losing their jobs just in January. People getting sick just in January. It's just the beginning of the year. There are some already that are ready to quit. We're going to take a journey for the next few weeks through the book of Ruth, okay? And we will uncover 5 life-giving habits to help us preserve when things get hard, when things get complicated, when things get messy. I don't know if any of that has taken place in your life already this year, 2018. But these 5 life-giving habits I want us to look at so that we can be able to apply them to our homes and to our jobs and to our ministry, to our marriages, to our lives. Okay? There's things that we're going to come up against daily, and we have to be able to know how to combat those things or how to just get through those things. There's something here that the author has here. It says there's a battle inside every woman that makes her want to give up on something or someone. And I know we have gentlemen joining us too, so that applies to you too. But listen to this. With God's help, we can and will complete the commitments we have made. We too will become women and men who don't quit. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be called a quitter. I don't like being called a quitter. I'm up for the challenge. Are you? So let's pray so we can get into this one. Father God, we thank you for this day, this opportunity where we can come together to lift up your name, to magnify you, to get deeper into your word, to draw closer to you. Father God, we invite you into this lesson today and into this series, God. We ask you to have your way, to open up our hearts and open up our minds so that we understand what you have for us, the assignments you have for us. Oh, God, the things that you have for us to go through. God, help us to understand that you are with us in every area of our lives. You walk with us. You talk with us. You give us what to do and how to do. Build us up, God, wherever we're torn down. Encourage us, oh God, wherever we're discouraged, oh God. Be with us, oh God, in this lesson. And God, we want you to just be magnified and glorified in all of this. And we thank you for what is going to happen. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, ladies. Let's begin with reading. And I want you to, hopefully you have, and I didn't say, grab your Bibles, grab your journal. We're going to be in the Word. And I have some things that I really want you to write down in your journal. So grab something that you can. If you haven't purchased a coffee break journal, get one, okay, so that you can specifically have these lessons in those journals so you can refer back to them. I wanted to start with reading Ruth. chapter 1. We're going to read verses 1 through 18. And this is where this introduction here is going to be coming from. Ruth, chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. Now I'm going to read the New Living Translation of this, if you don't mind. It says, in the days when the judges ruled in Israel, a severe famine came upon the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah left his home and went to live in the country of Moab, taking his family and 2 sons with him. The man's name was Elimelech, and his wife was Naomi. There were 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in the land of Judah. And when they reached Moab, they settled there. Then Elimelech died, and Naomi was left with her 2 sons. The 2 sons married Moabite women. One married a woman named Orpah, and the other woman named Ruth. But about 10 years later, both Mahlon and Chilion died. This left Naomi alone without her 2 sons or her husband. Then Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had blessed his people in Judah by giving them good crops again. So Naomi and her daughters-in-law got ready to leave Moab to return to her homeland. And with her 2 daughters-in-law, she set out from the place where she had been living, and they took the road that would lead them back to Judah. But on the way, Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back to your mother's home, and may the Lord reward you for your kindness to your husband and to me. May the Lord bless you with the security of another marriage." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they all broke down and wept. "No," they said, "we want to go with you to your people." But Naomi replied, "Why should you go on with me? Can I still give birth to other sons who could grow up to be your husband? No, my daughter. Return to your parents' home, for I have told I am too old to marry again. And even if it were possible, and I were to get married tonight and bear sons, then what? Would you wait for them to grow up and refuse to marry someone else? No, of course not, my daughter. Things are far too bitter for me than for you, because the Lord himself has raised his fist against me." And again they wept together, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye. But Ruth clung tightly to Naomi. "Look, Naomi," Naomi said to her, "your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her God. You should do the same." But Ruth replied, "Don't ask me to leave you and turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Wherever you die, I will die, and there I will be dead. May the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us." When Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, she said nothing more. I want us to hold on to that little bit of story. Okay, in Ruth chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. I asked you the question, is there something you are ready to quit? Is there something you want to give, or someone you want to give up on? What are some reasons? You have to write this. I want you to write this question down in your journal because you're not here to see that. What are some reasons that people quit? What are some reasons that people quit? I told you I had a quittable morning. I did. I had a quittable morning. And this is just a morning. Not talking about, or not even including the, certain decisions that, or life changing things. But, my morning, didn't want to get up out of that bed. I was so exhausted, so tired. I'm say exhausted, tired, sleepy from, being out of town, coming back in town, getting up. Then got two sick babies and at home, and you want to get them situated. But then I had to do coffee breaks and I couldn't, so I was like, oh, well, let's just cancel and push it back another week. But I had already been pushing it back, right? It was already the date, everything went out. It was just one thing after somebody cut me off on the road going to Dunkin' Donuts this morning. I guess he really was really trying to get there really fast, or he was late for work, so he decided to turn in front of me to get to Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, everything. What quittable things? Because it's raining. Oh, I shouldn't even have got outside. But there's some reasons. There are many, many, many reasons that people quit or have this desire to quit. Fear, frustration, anxiety, not prepared. I want to say clueless, but sometimes even God gives you things to do, and you telling God, no, I don't think I want to do that. I can't do that because I don't know how. Or you start something that God gives you, and you're so fearful because you really don't know it, or you don't, understand it, and you're saying, no, I'm just going to give up. I don't want to go through this because I don't want to even learn it. I'm scared of what might happen, fearful of what people might say. These are all reasons people quit. Not enough money in it. It doesn't look prosperous. It doesn't look like it's going to grow. I don't know. There could be many, many, many reasons. What are some reasons people quit? And I ask you, have you recently given up on something that you have been challenged to do, and you just decided to quit? I know we've discussed Bruce, the book of Bruce, the story of Bruce, the whole book, before in Coffee Break, way back. But I want us to look at Bruce in a different way this time around. Okay? Oftentimes we read the passages and the stories, and God gives us something different. And every time that should happen in the Bible, um, depending on the season that you're in. In this season, we're going to be talking about not quitting, because so many people are giving up on God. So many people are giving up on themselves, walking out on their family, leaving the church, just quitting because things are not going the way you expected them to go, because things are not looking right like you want them to look. Your 5-year plan is totally been destroyed. You may have lost your job, and now it's like that you didn't quit that, but now you're quitting on life because you feel that there's no promise, there's no hope. But I want us to begin to think about as we go through these habits. Think about some ways when we get that feeling inside of us to quit, whatever it is. It could just be you quitting to read your Bible. You're quitting to go to Bible study because you don't really care for the teacher. I don't know. There could be many things that we decide to quit, but I want to tell somebody today, quitting is not an option. It is not an option. You have to stick to it, especially the things that God has given to you. And I know I'm jumping ahead, but oftentimes when God gives us things, He doesn't really lay out the whole plan for us, really because He wants us to trust Him through the process. through the plan, go to him for him to work it out for us. Because sometimes if he gives us the whole plan, we'll run with it and do the whole thing. We'll do it all in one day when he wants us to take a year to do it. We have to think about those things. God's not going to give us things that we can't handle. That's even laying out the whole plan for us. He's not going to give us the whole plan if we know he knows we can't handle the whole plan. We have to be able, I want to say quitters are just don't have faith, especially quitters in God. Just don't have faith in God. So yes, we're going to be talking about faith throughout this series. How to build your faith, how to work your faith, Sunday school lesson on Sunday, how to work your faith, how to grow your faith. Okay, how to stick to whatever God has designed for you to do, regardless of how scary it is, how much to you it doesn't make any kind of sense at all. How when you come up against it, you start breaking out hives, anxiety attacks, because you don't know what to expect. People are talking about you, giving you the side eye. We're going to learn how to get through that. Okay, Ruth. What do we know about Ruth? What do we know about Ruth? Those of you that may have are Bible scholars and really into the Word. Think about what do you know about Ruth? Ruth went from loyalty to royalty. Ruth. I'm not talking about Naomi today. I'm talking about Ruth. God chose to bring the most powerful generational line in history through Ruth. We'll see that later on. You don't know that story. Ruth had determination. She had commitment. And she had drive. I want you to write those 3 words down in your journal. Because in order to become a woman who doesn't quit, you have to have these 3 things. And if you don't have them right now, by the end of this series, we hope that you will have worked on it. Determination, commitment, and drive. Determination, commitment, and drive. What are some reasons people quit? Not what we expected. I thought it would be easier. Yeah, not what you expected. Fear of judgment. That's a big one. People are so scared of what other people are going to think about them and what they're going to say about them. I'm trying to tap into someone, something that you're going through, because a lot of us are giving up on life or losing hope, giving up on God because of these things. Mistakes made. We all make mistakes, but mistakes made. We need to understand we need to use our mistakes as lessons learned and keep going. But we quit because of mistakes made. We don't like change, so we quit. The new boss comes in, you don't like their attitude or whatever, you don't like their program that they're setting up, so I'll find a new job. I'll quit this one and find something else. No discipline. We don't want to take time to, one thing we don't want to take time to do is discipline ourselves to read the Word of God. Discipline, to pray, to fast. We don't want to discipline ourselves. We have this challenge, or we have this. We know we need to lose weight, get fit. Don't want to discipline ourselves to at least do 3 workouts a week. No self-motivation. Self-motivation. Some of us have a hard time encouraging ourselves. Telling ourselves, you can do it. Get up. Go. Be strong. Be motivated today. We look for others to do that. distraction. Many distractions, like my mom, will make us want to quit. Mindset is everything, as we're going to understand in this series. Mindset is everything. Without a strong and a positive frame of mind, you will quit. That's why those three words are important: determination, commitment, and drive. All of those are determined by your mindset. Positive frame of mind. Without it, you will quit. In these scriptures we've read today, in Ruth chapter 1, verses 1 through 18, one thing of many we see in here is that Ruth's strong story is filled with affliction, just in these verses. And we're going to get through the whole book of Ruth during this series. But in this story we read today, we see that there is a lot of affliction here in this story, such as loss, death, hunger, and uncertainty. Also in this story, we see endurance, proven character, and hope lived out. And we're going to see that throughout this series. These are things, and I'm throwing out these words because these are things that sometimes we miss or lacking in our lives, and it allows for that thought of quitting to slip in. And we have to be careful. I just want to encourage someone today. Let's work on this determination. Let's work on commitment. Let's work on your drive. Because when you build all that up and make a strong foundation with those, quitting is not allowed to slip in. Okay? We will all have affliction of life to transform us from or cause us to turn away from things and turn away from God, turn away from our assignment. We all will have afflictions. But our character is the foundation for the assignment God has for us, each and every one of our lives. Sometimes, and I often say, and I don't want to just be talking to the believer. I want to be talking to the non-believer too, to help you understand that it's a better way to live, and that's with God. With God holding your hand and walking with you and talking with you through all of your decision making, through all of your planning, through your life. Every decision we make is important. Even the decisions to quit. Because when you make a decision to quit, it sticks with you. It does. And it can have eternal consequences. Just think about that for a second. Every decision we make to quit, or even the ones to stick with, has an eternal consequence. You might think it's just a little simple thing to just quit your job, or to quit going to church, to quit Bible study, to quit that friendship. Oh, it's just a simple thing. I'll pick it up later. But it will have a big effect on you eternally. What have you quit that you can think of in your mind that you should be, that you think, oh, maybe I should have stuck out with that. Maybe I should have followed through with that one. What would have happened if I wouldn't have given up on that? I say that some people quit because they don't like change. The Ruth story begins with a woman, Naomi, and a man named Elimelech. They lived in a city called Bethlehem. Okay? Things got extremely hard for them. Food became scarce. So Elimelech made the decision to pack up his family and move to Moab, where we assume there was food and work. In this story, we also we know that when you're hungry, it prompts you to do something. Go get some food. When there's a lack of something or a famine, a lack of, it prompts movement. Famine prompts movement. When you don't have something, and that's anything. If you don't have, you know, running water, it prompts you to go find some water to go take a. If famine prompts you, the lack of prompts you to go get that thing. Okay? The famine in this story, we see prompts them to move. On the one hand, listen to this. On the one hand, I can understand Elimelech desiring to take care of his family. And I can understand him wanting to, getting pretty anxious and concerned. He was anxious enough that he decided to take his family 50 miles from their original destination, 50 miles to go find food and work. Now, know that 50 miles wasn't in a car. It's easy for us to drive 50 miles. I don't know, what's 50 miles? You can get more than 50 miles. But 50 miles, jump in the car and go. But they had to get there on foot, okay? Elimelech was desperate. I want you to write that word down and circle it, being in your journal. Desperate. Elimelech was desperate. When you're desperate, that prompts movement. I have this down. I have this thought. And I don't want anyone to get upset about the thought. Because it's not just my thought. I've seen other commentaries that have this thought too. Was Elimelech led by God to make this move? The story goes so fast, we get no, day-to-day details. Elimelech, the man who loved God, did he trust God? We don't know if Elimelech prayed and asked God to move, to provide, to make a way. We don't know that. All we know is one day there's a famine, or at the time there's a famine, he said, we moving, grabbed up his family. So it seems to us that it was quick. We don't know. So I don't want to speculate. But my question to you, if that's the same to you, have you consulted God about that thing that you want to give up on or that you want to run away from? That thing that God has assigned you to, that crazy job with that crazy boss, that ministry with those crazy kids in children's church, that, whatever. Has God assigned you to something? God assigned you to something that you have become, there's a famine. You may not know what needs to be done. You may not understand what's going on. You may not see the way the plan completely. But have you consulted God about that thing? You said, I'm just gonna quit because I'm done. Have you become worried, so afraid, so weary, so frustrated, so desperate that it has prompted you to move from that place that you're supposed to be in, that God has placed you in? And you've decided to move. I'm telling you that decision has eternal consequences. Sometimes we can move so quickly. I'm going to tell you what it does. It brings death and destruction to us. Have you decided to quit something and you found yourself now you in a desolate, dark, dry place? It's worse than when you were in the thing that was making you all fearful, weary, and frustrated. Maybe because God didn't say it's time for you to move to the next thing. God didn't tell you to quit. I think the only thing I've seen, and I don't know, in the Bible where God tells people to quit Stop sinning. Stop worshiping. Quit worshiping false gods. Quit sinning. He never tells us to quit life, quit living. In that sense, he tells us, trust me. Oh. Sometimes we can move so quickly, it brings death and destruction to us. It brings more affliction in our lives. I want you to write down, and I'm going to have to hurry up. Write down and go to Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8, verse 13. Romans chapter 8. Just write it down. I'll read it right fast. For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. Okay? Put to death those sins, your sinful natures, or the things that are not of God, and you will live. Don't decide to make things go your way or make decisions on your own and expect for them to thrive. Don't expect to go back to the way you used to live because your Christian life is not what you thought it was supposed to be. Something to think about. But it's through the power of the Spirit. You put to death the deeds of your sinful nature, and you will live. The decision to move for Elimelech and his family, the decision to move to Moab, was supposed to be a temporary solution. It tells us that in the scripture, it says that and a certain man in Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab. Sojourn means temporary stay. It was supposed to be a temporary solution. Okay, Elimelech's temporary solution had permanent effect. As we go through this story, the things begin to happen there. And I don't want to say because Elimelech made this decision without God, things started happening, death and destruction began to take place. Fear, loss, devastation, heartbreak, worry, stress, all that happened in these first 18 verses. But I want to put that thought in our mind for you to think about. Not trying to read into anything, but when I think of certain things we do without God, how we step out of God's will, how we want to put our will into play, and we step out of God's will, and then expect God to fix it and make it okay. Be okay with it. Whenever did God say, quit, stop doing what I told you to do? I told you, I made the way, I opened the door for you to have that job. And I want you to work at that job because there's somebody I need you to show light to. I need you to be the salt of the earth. I need you there to work there. I need you there. We've been talking about this in our Sunday school lessons, in our Bible study, in past coffee breaks. When God assigns you to something, you don't have to understand it. So stop trying to understand why God has assigned you to something. Just work the assignment. And the only way you can work the assignment is to be in relationship and in tune with God and what He wants you to do. Never did He say, and at any point you feel fear or you feel worried or any anxiety, go ahead and quit. I got you. Go ahead and quit. Has anyone ever, I don't know, maybe I just don't know, that I've never come across anyone that has, God said, whenever you feel like it, just go ahead and quit. Like I say, the only thing I've ever heard God say quit is quit sinning and quit worshiping other gods. Quit turning away from me. When you get into despair, when you get so desperate, when you get to a place that you just are fearful and you just don't know what's going on, how to do, I don't have the right plan, That's when you're supposed to lean more on God and allow God, that's when you work your faith. Allow God to give you everything that you need for that assignment. Elimelech's temporary solution to move to Moab had a permanent effect on his family. So much happened in Moab in those few years, not more than 12 years that they were there. Okay? So much happened. His sons married Moabite women, which they shouldn't have been marrying and mixing with those because they were not of their faith. Yeah. Moved them into a place where they were worshiping other gods and things were not godly. So, and they picked up when married, connected women to women who worship this false god, this god that couldn't do anything. Brought that into the family. They died. Elimelech died. Sons got married. Sons died. Now the women are left with nothing. No livelihood. How do they take care of themselves? A lot happened because of Elimelech's temporary decision. When we are desperate, sometimes we find ourselves and we are so tempted to take detours that seem to appear to be the best at the time. Never intended for it to be the final it all, but it does. Or you get stuck there. We take detours sometimes away from God's plan, and we can't do that. We cannot decide to quit just because things are not going right or things have changed. Things look desolate. Things look finished. Things look deadly. We got to go to God first. I want you to write down, I got to close out. I want you to write down these scriptures. Get your pens right past. Just write down. I want you to read these scriptures here. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. How many of you know really that the enemy really wants you to quit? That's what the enemy tells you. Not God. That's what the enemy tells you, to just quit. You can't do it. It doesn't make sense. They're going to keep getting on your nerves anyway. They're going to keep frustrating you. So quit. Go do something else. Go to God. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Write that down. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Watch out for the enemy. Yeah, that devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion. You might know anything about a roaring lion. He's constantly looking for things to take apart. Okay? To kill, to destroy. He has those characteristics. Watch out. He wants you to quit and give up on what God has assigned you, on your hope, on your prosperity, on your relationship with God. Write down Psalm 34, verse 18. Psalm 34 and 18. And I'm telling you to write this one down because you have to know that even in your moment of despair, even in your frustration, even in your fear, that God is with you. It says, the Lord is nigh unto them that are of broken heart, and saveth such as be of contrite spirit. The Lord is close to them with a broken heart, and he rescues those whose spirits are crushed. Even in your moment of despair, and you feel defeated, every time you turn around, seems like everything you're saying is not being heard. All the words that are coming out of your mouth is like a foreign language. You're telling people how to do stuff right. You're giving them sound advice. No one's listening. It can be frustrating. It can get you down, but know that God is with you. Okay? And last one, write down Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. This is what we have to do. It says, let us hold tightly, without wavering, to the hope we affirm. For God can be trusted to keep his promise. If God has assigned you to something, know that God is going to take care of you in that assignment. If he promised you that things are going to be okay, then believe that it's going to be okay. Don't jump ship. Don't quit. That's not an option. And we have to understand that. And as we continue to go through this series, I want us to build up this drive in us. That we can just stand and come against and be able to come against all these things, stand against all these things that may try to deter us. God has assigned you to something, wherever it is, in your home, in your ministry, on your job. If God has assigned you to it, know that he's going to bring you through it. Don't quit. No quitting thoughts. Tell them to go away. Go pray. Go seek God. Ask him for the next step. What direction do I go? Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go up? Do I go down? God, give me what it is that I need. Don't quit. I'm going to say that for the next 6 weeks. Don't quit, because quitting has permanent effects. It has permanent consequences. And once you quit, a lot of times you can't go back. You can't get that back. When you quit your job, sometimes that door is closed. You can't just go back to it. A lot of times that doesn't happen. When you quit a relationship that I need you here. Yeah, that person may be great. But God needs you to minister to that person. You never know what you might do to or for someone because God has placed you there. All right. We're going to stop here. We're going to keep on going in Ruth. So join me next week, next Wednesday at 10 o'clock, so we can go even further into this book of Ruth as we are building up ourselves to become women who don't quit. I'm not trying to make us, these like really rebellious women. No. What I'm trying to get us to understand is that it's just easy for us to quit. It's just easy for us it's easier, it seems like, for us to just say, forget it. Turn around and say, never mind, I'll do something else. That's what us women do sometimes. And we know that we have the ability with God to do whatever it is God has assigned us to do. Listen, ladies, this is all for today. I thank you for joining me this morning, and I hope that something has been said that will encourage you to hold on just a little bit longer. Hold tightly to God. Don't let him go. Keep your eyes focused on him and push through. Let's build that determination. Let's build our commitment. Let's build our drive to do what God has assigned us to do. If this coffee break has been a blessing to you, I ask that you go down to the bottom of that website, go to and give. Make a contribution to Coffee Break as we continue to do what God has assigned us to do. Thank you for joining me. Listen, text me, email me, whatever it is. Message me. I don't do Twitter, so whatever. But let me know how you have enjoyed this coffee break. If there's something or question that you want answered, I might can find the answer for you. I would love to hear from you, and just let us know how you are enjoying this. God bless you, and have a wonderful one.